Hey there, history buffs! Today, we're diving into the captivating story of Argentina, a land steeped in vibrant culture and dramatic turns of fate. But before the tango and the roar of football stadiums, Argentina's story begins long before its independence. Imagine vast plains teeming with indigenous tribes, their lives intertwined with the land for centuries. These were the first Argentines living in harmony with nature. Then came the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century, drawn by dreams of gold and glory. They established settlements, forever altering the course of Argentina's history. The colonization brought about a clash of cultures, as Spanish rule took hold, and Argentina became a vital part of the Spanish Empire. This period saw the rise of cities like Buenos Aires, a bustling port city that would later become the nation's capital. However, life under colonial rule wasn't easy. The Spanish crown exerted control over trade and governance, sparking resentment among the Argentines. This discontent would sow the seeds of a revolution, a yearning for self-determination that would forever change Argentina's destiny. Stay tuned as we explore the fight for independence in the next section. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. The dawn of the 19th century brought winds of change across Latin America, and Argentina was no exception. The flames of revolution, ignited by Enlightenment ideals and fueled by discontent with Spanish rule, began to spread. This was a time of heroes and revolutionaries, and Argentina had its fair share. One name echoes through the halls of Argentine history: José de San Martín. A brilliant military strategist, San Martin led the army of the Andes across the treacherous Andes Mountains, a feat of courage and determination. This daring move would prove crucial in liberating not only Argentina, but also Chile and Peru from Spanish rule. On July 9, 1816, Argentina declared its independence, marking a pivotal moment in the nation's history. The declaration was a bold statement, a rejection of colonial rule and a proclamation of self-governance. However, the road to true independence was far from smooth. Internal divisions and power struggles plagued the newly independent nation, leading to periods of political instability. Despite these challenges, Argentina persevered, laying the foundation for a nation that would grapple with its identity and destiny in the decades to come. The decades following independence were marked by a turbulent political landscape. Argentina, like many newly independent nations, grappled with finding its footing. Power struggles between centralist and federalist factions led to periods of internal conflict and instability. The rise of caudillos, strongmen who commanded loyalty through charisma and force, added another layer of complexity to the political scene. These figures, often charismatic but authoritarian, emerged from the rural heartland, wielding significant influence. One such figure was Juan Manuel de Rosas, who ruled Argentina with an iron fist for over 2 decades. Rosas's regime, while bringing a semblance of order, was also marked by repression and authoritarianism. His rule cast a long shadow over Argentine politics, highlighting the fragile nature of democracy in a nation struggling to find its way. The latter half of the 19th century saw some stability and progress, with the adoption of a new constitution and efforts to modernize the economy. However, the seeds of future conflicts, rooted in social inequalities and economic disparities, were sown during this time. Argentina's journey towards a stable and just society was far from over. The 20th century ushered in a new era for Argentina, marked by the rise of populism and the enduring legacy of Juan Domingo Perón. Perón, a charismatic military officer, rose to power in 1946, promising social justice and economic empowerment for the working class. His wife, Eva Perón, known affectionately as Evita, became a powerful figure in her own right. Beloved by the working class for her advocacy for social welfare programs and women's rights, Evita became an icon, her image adorning murals and her legacy fiercely debated to this day. The Perón era was a time of significant social and economic change. Perón's policies, while popular among his supporters, also led to economic instability and authoritarian tendencies. His rule ended with a military coup in 1955, marking the beginning of a cycle of military interventions and political turmoil that would plague Argentina for decades. The decades that followed were some of the darkest in Argentina's history. A brutal military dictatorship, known as the Dirty War, seized power in 1976, unleashing a reign of terror. Thousands of Argentines, suspected of opposing the regime, were disappeared, their fates unknown. This dark chapter left a deep scar on the nation's psyche, a reminder of the fragility of human rights and the dangers of unchecked power.